All right, welcome back, everyone. Welcome to E2W Coast Sports. Going to be recapping the Warriors' win on the road since January 30th against the Houston Rockets, and then also going to talk a little Lakers too. So let's jump into that game. To be honest, it was not a high-level game. A lot of turnovers by both teams, easy, fast break dunks, too many steals, too many bad passes. It just wasn't a high-level game. It kind of seemed like the Warriors slumped a little bit to their opponent's level there. Or they're just tired. I mean, they're just exhausted. This is the fourth game out of five for the road trip. We know how that can be on athletes' bodies, just exhausted for playing. They did have a back-to-back there. Let's jump into the game here. Steph and Clay actually had a really good game. Both scored 30 points. Clay actually sort of saved us there at the very end with a couple really big threes that he made. His body language lately hasn't been great. When he's missing shots, when he's blowing defensive assignments, when something just isn't going his way, he's definitely slumping. He's definitely showing it with his body, which is not good because Clay is one of those veterans that needs to lead by example, and he needs to show that even during the tough times there, he needs to be a leader. I hope he cleans that up because we're going to need him down the stretch here. Hopefully the home crowd will help shake that bad energy. Steph was awesome. He had 30 points. He was getting to the basket. Houston doesn't really have any rim protection, so I know when teams don't have rim protection like that, Steph is much more inclined to drive to the hoop. And, his ability to finish is just unreal. Left, right, down the middle with two defenders on him. It's crazy. I love watching Steph play. It's really hard to watch the Warriors without Steph. Kuminga continues to impress. There was a stretch there in like the second quarter, I think. It sort of looked like Kuminga was the only one who gave a crap at all. He's rebounding really well. He's making his open threes, which is huge because once that gets on the scouting report and we know Kuminga can actually shoot the open three, it wasn't even just the baseline ones. He was making the break ones too. It's going to put a lot more pressure on the defense to close out. And what can he do? That first big step, drive to the hoop, big dunk, big pass, kick out to an open shooter. It's going to open a lot for our rotations and our offense. Let's talk about the three-point fouling. There was one on Lamb, and then there was one on Curry, both in the second half there. And they were both landing space three-point fouls. And the first one on Lamb, you take a look at it. The Houston player jumps forward in his three-point attempt, barely grazes Lamb's foot. Lamb actually didn't even jump while the shooter was jumping, so he was planted. And because it was in his quote-unquote landing space, they gave the foul to the Houston player, and it was the three-point free throw attempt there. I don't ever see Clay or Steph get that call, really ever. Clay has such a quick release and he goes straight up and down that it is a little bit harder for Clay. He rarely gets fouled in three-point shots. Steph, though, I know he has a weird sort of leg kick out. He gets defenders in his landing space all the time. So I just don't understand the consistency of this call. I don't know why it's so subjective, it seems like. Because, again, Steph just never gets this call. It's crazy. I will say that this effort was not good enough to win a lot of games on the road. This effort would not win them their game in Dallas tomorrow. So I hope they have a better game. What's funny, I think Steve Kerr mentioned, he's like, I think this was our worst game out of the four, and this is the only one that they won. It just shows how bad Houston is. So Dallas on Wednesday night, they need to win this one too, just to sort of wrap up this road trip and get home back to Chase. All right, let's talk a little Lakers here. Lakers were watching. They didn't play last night, but they were watching. And Minnesota, Golden State, and Utah, all ahead of them, all won last night. So they didn't gain any ground, even though they weren't playing. Lakers are currently at the 11th seed right now, but only a game and a half behind Golden State, who are the 6th seed. So there's, let's say 9 or 10 games left. There's plenty of time for the Lakers to actually clean that up and push to get back, because right now they're not in the play-in. So, but that would be hilarious if they made, arguably the best trade deadline moves and they didn't even make the play-in tournament. But I think they will. What about LeBron, though? Darvin Ham has high hopes for LeBron returning this regular season, but still no timetable as far as when he's coming back. So it seems a little suspicious. Like, actually, how ready is he? Are they going to put him out there just because it is the end of the season? If this happened at the beginning or middle of the season, would he be out for much longer? It was a really bad ankle roll. He's been out for, I believe, 3 weeks now, 4 weeks. He's missed 11 games so far. Those ankle rolls for a normal person are like 2 to 3 months. LeBron's going to return quicker than the normal person, but still no timetable. So that's interesting. And I wonder too if come closer to the end of the regular season and things aren't looking good, do they just keep him out just to protect him? Last thing I want to note is the Austin Reeves thing. It is funny. He did shoot 16 free throw attempts, and people on Twitter were just clowning, like, how is he getting this superstar whistle? And then I saw a tweet, and Austin Reeves had mentioned that he tries to model his game around Harden and Trae Young just because they get so many foul calls. I don't blame Reeves, and he's not the only player in the league to try to bait refs into giving him a foul call. I just think that the NBA and the refs need to clean that up. It's not fun to watch. Reeves is, while he's a good role player, he's a role player. No one wants to see someone like him get 15 free throw attempts. And then they're comparing them to other, bigger players like Steph, who is averaging 4 free throw attempts a game, I think, around there, which is just wild. For how much he shoots, how much he drives, he definitely deserves some more. And you got a guy like Austin Reeves who's just sort of flopping around or gets tapped on whatever, and he's getting a call. It's kind of funny. Don't blame him, but it's just a little ridiculous. All right, that's it for now, guys. We will recap the Warriors on Thursday after their game against Dallas. All right, appreciate it. Bye.